So as we are continuing on this mod, um, we have a need for adding on to existing planets. There's only so much we can do on Tython, and we have to venture out. So I wanted to make a video on doing that. I've already done a little bit of it. I wanted to show you how it looks in game. So I added on to the Tatooine Canteen. I added like a back room um, here where we can place more NPCs um, for the quest area, right? And specifically for a quest NPC once this is all set up. But um, it looks very similar but different to the other one. And when you see how it's done, um, it's a little ridiculous, but we can very easily make new areas using, you know, assets that already exist. It's what that room is this entire mesh, this huge room that makes up this cell. Boom, right? And they're 90 degrees to each other. They're just stuck together. But it does create a new room, which is perfectly acceptable. And then here on Dantooine, I added one more. If we are faster, there was a cave entrance in this waterfall over here that I ended up never using, so I ended up using it for this mod. Um, and all I did was stick a door on it, right? But it adds a whole new cell connected to connected to Dantooine here. So it's very useful. I mean, as a modder modding Morrowind or Starwind, you need to know how to add it to existing areas. And with the way these Starwind cells are set up, it can be very difficult to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're actually going to go into the construction set and we're going to add on to Nar Shaddaa. Now, I haven't figured out exactly how I want to do this yet, but I want to add on to one of the cells here and possibly even create a new cell. So I think we'll use one of these party boats and we'll add a new travel agent there that's going to take us to our new cell. Since these little party boats were never used, it gives us a good opportunity to do that. So let's go ahead, let's take our travel agent here, and we're going to copy him. And for bare minimum, for now, we just need a travel agent who's going to take us where we need to go. So this is going to be SW. We're on Nar Shaddaa. It's going to be voice, so and then we're going to need to create a new cell. What I think we should do here is I think we should take one of these other areas like maybe Quantum Alley, and then we will actually just grab everything. Okay, we're going to grab everything, and then we're going to create a new cell, and it's going to be Nar Shaddaa. We'll call it concert way. And we're going to want to make a note of this as well. And this is going to behave like an exterior, just like Akachisa Market. So it's going to behave like an Escadia Isles region. So let's go into the cell, apply that, and then we're going to go to the cell. Now obviously you could sit here and piece all this together piece by piece, but we don't want to do that. What we're going to do is we're going to heavily modify this. So we're going to take that out, we're going to take that out, we don't need that. Let's go ahead and move some of this stuff around here. I think even what we'll do is we're going to pretty this up. Let's move this guy back here. And then we don't want to use this anywhere because we're going to use this for our aesthetic here. And hopefully it's going to be, yes, so is that our proper degree? Let's go ahead and do like that. I think that will work well. Take that and hopefully along, there we go. Y-axis, like that. This one just a tad to kind of give this building a new look. And then we're going to, all of this can go away. Yeah, that can go, this can go, this can go, this can go, this can go. Probably gonna keep one of these signs because we can use it. It's a guard. Probably keep the guard. And we'll go ahead and we'll do path and grids too, because I forgot to do that in the other one, so that'll be good. Let's keep the speeder. And then we're going to do some ridiculous stuff here. We need to change this up just a little bit though. So let's move like, let's put this at like an angle. Let's take this, get it where you can kind of see like that. So we don't want to use that again. We're going to do the same thing to another planet too. We're not going to do it to Terrace. Terrace is very similar, the way the tile sets work. Very easy to do. Let's go ahead, let's reuse this one again. Stick that here. Give this one some more height if I can. There we go. Set that with the clouds. And then I want to, we're going to go to that master voice, NPC master voice travel. And then I want to go to this guy. Take him, take you and you, take that back here. And then guess that's part of this. So we're gonna have to hide this model. That's what we're gonna have to do. That's gonna be fucking hard, but we can do it. Why don't we do it like this? Let's get this kind of set up where this lines up here. First off, let's take our little guy. This is going to be 2. And we're going to have to move this up, so let's just move it up. And we want to move this to be like even with that as much as we can. Position. Yeah, like that. That's good. Okay. So now, since this is a part of, and we could very easily rip this little ship off of this mesh, but we're not going to do that. We want to try to make this all look. We're trying to kid bash this on purpose because not everybody really knows 3D modeling, so we can't really say, oh, well, why didn't you just make a new mesh? Because that's a ridiculous thing to say. So let's try to hide as much as is reasonable on this. Take that. Let's flip this around. Put that. Can't do that, so let's do it like that. And try to line up our windows here. Okay. So position this one. Boom. Okay. So that kind of looks like the same building. So you have that little entrance, and then we might need to. How are we going to do this? I think we've hidden that very well. I want to put. So what we're doing is we're making like like an opera house basically. So we want like some guys parked here. Like that. And then let's go ahead and do a pathing grid here. So we don't have any points. So we're going to make this from scratch. And all you have to do, you click this little button up here for the pathing grid. You could generate it by default, but the way that we do these Starwind meshes, if you're doing them like I'm doing them, then you're going to have a really hard time. So you just right click. And this is what tells the NPCs where they're allowed to walk, because we don't want them all just running off the edge here. We're going to need some kind of ramp. I'll have to figure that out in a minute. And we'll hold control. We'll connect all of these. Okay. Actually, that's just not safe. These NPCs are not very smart, so you've really got to be careful because they will get stuck. Okay. So let's make some here. Uh-oh. Delete that one. And you can get as detailed as you want with this. And you can really get precise. Okay. So we have a pretty basic pathing grid. So that the NPCs won't just walk off the edge here. I think maybe we can add another one of these. We can rotate it. And then we can put it back here. Decrease it like that. And then maybe, just maybe. See, we may have to do one more. Let's do one more. See what's sticking out on the other end there. So let's try to put it like that. So maybe it's not too noticeable. Can we get away with one more? No. So hopefully that will work as stairs. Without being too invasive. And actually working as stairs is the issue. They're big enough to be steps. Okay, so let's go back to the pathing grid. And then we're going to go from here to there. Okay. So we have this new area. It looks like there's a big spot It's kind of missing right there. Also looks like we maybe have a ship, flying ship that's going to fly straight through the middle of these two. I don't know. We'll find out. Let's take this guy. We're going to make him AI services. The only place he's going to bring us is to the other travel agent at Makachisa Market. Yeah, it looks like it's going to be on the other one over here. Yeah, it is. Okay. So let's just put that right in the middle. We'll put the travel agent right next to it. And then we're going to have this one bring us to the other guy. And with these city planets, you really can copy paste and then just modify things because it's going to make your life so much easier because there's so much stuff there. Alright, let's test it out. Forgot to add a note there. We've got 2 COC Narshda Makachisa Market. We can add more NPCs, make it more lively, throw some booze in the ground. He's gonna. Oh, we don't have any money. That's awesome. Got money there. So he's gonna bring us to this brand new cell. Looks like we definitely are gonna need to add some. This is definitely in the way too of all these other ones. So maybe we'll change it where we have one flying like across right there instead. The stairs work perfectly. We can maybe add a little cell here that's something nonsense. We can just make it where it's locked, script locked. So yeah, we'll delete all this stuff, of course, and try to make it look a little different. Maybe I'll make a new hologram to go there. But yeah, that's essentially it. We just need a building right there to make it where you're not staring into nothing. And then you'll have this new compact area that is on Narshda. So you've successfully, at this point, there's obviously tweaking that needs to be done, but successfully created a new cell on Narshda with inside the city. Right, it's that easy. You just got to move a bunch of stuff around. See, like these buildings need to be moved down a little bit. And you can see that one's floating. So a lot of tweaking, but rudimentary. It is sufficient, at least. Yeah. It's that easy, man. So, let's go back there. This building needs to be lowered. It's also not behind it. So, that. This one can also do some lowering. And then we need something here. Maybe. We don't really have a whole lot of buildings we can place. Why don't we take one of these? put in here at an angle. Stick that there. Then we'll add. There are some other buildings too. Let's go ahead and look at that. Let's take the traffic. Delete these two. There's another one. There he is. If I'm looking at this, he is flying straight through these buildings. So I think maybe we could. Where are you? Right here. Move him up more, a little bit more. Move him over like that. Down. I think he'll fly right through here without any issues. And then there's one more. The way these are set up, they're kind of a bitch to look at because it's gonna. This is where it actually starts, and it's gonna fly through, and it's gonna end up in this spot. I think it actually ends up a little bit further even, so we can probably even go ahead and move it down just a tad. But if you look straight down the nose of the ship, you'll be able to see where it's flying through to make sure that it's not running into anything. They're used on Manon as well. We're gonna do Manon next. This one very evidently is just gonna fly straight through there. So can we? Where can we make him fly through? We can probably make him fly right there. So let's take him, move him up. Let's rotate him 90 degrees. So 270, hopefully 180 is going to be the right direction. Yeah, that's going to make it easy on us. And then we're going to take this guy who's inside of this building. And it's going to be, there we go, pane. And we're going to move him. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to make him fly real high. I'll make him fly like right there, right there. Over. He'll fly above. No, it's not going to work. He needs to be farther back. They don't have too far of a flight path, so you really got to make sure that kind of hidden. Okay. So you got two flying ships here now. You've got a new entryway that almost looks like a new building. Very different from the others. So let's go ahead. Let's get rid of these big things because they're just nasty ugly. And then we put this here, but we really need one more. So let's go ahead, SWR tower. We're looking at is that not a static? Is it an activator? That's a static. SWNAR. Damn it. SWNAR underscore tower. SWNAR underscore tower. Damn it. There we go. Okay, so we're looking at, that's NAR1. So we've got 1, 2. That's 5. 1, 2, 5, 6. 1, 2, 5, 6, 4, 1, 2, 5. Where's 3? We're using 3. 8. Perfect. So we're going to take this big boy. We're going to use him to hide, the skybox back here. Make him real big. And then back. And he's going to hide anything behind that. To make it feel real compact. You're at like an opera house. You're in the city. There's no like more in there than this is gonna be. Okay. So I think that that is plenty sufficient for now, right? I can tweak it later, but let's get in there and look at it one more time so that you can see it in game with some tweaks. Let's see. First, what do we call that place? Concert Plaza? No, Concert Way. Oh, well, fuck me. Okay. And then we're going to add to Manon. That'll be the next thing we do. But I just added a bunch of money. Yeah, works really well. Okay. And we have our pathing grid, so our AI isn't just going to run off. In combat, you can get them to run off. There's nothing anybody can do about that. But when they're just wandering around or following you, like if you have an NPC companion that's following you, they will follow the pathing grid. They're not just going to run off when you put one more over there, but I'll do that later. But yeah, I mean, we have successfully added a new, without 3D modeling anything. We didn't have to touch Blender to do this. We've got a whole new area on Narshadon now that players can go to, with the ability, with no further tweaking, to add 2 new cells that it can go into, 2 interiors that the player can go into. So let's do Manon. I haven't figured out where I'm going to do this, but I have figured out what I want to do. And I think it's hilarious because we have, or actually, let me show you real quick the cantina. So and I did this again on purpose because I think that it is a really useful thing to play with, especially if you don't know 3D modeling. I just added a door here, and then inside this door it leads to the new area, which is literally, and you couldn't see this hallway. You can't see this hallway because the inside of these meshes are actually intertwining here, and they're blocking each other off. But this is literally the cantina mesh, and I just intersected both of them, and it works. It works well actually in game. I mean, it gives you even more little rooms you can play with, so we can do some pretty have some interesting little scenes going on in all these little rooms. We can even, there's a much smaller little bar area, so we can put like a private bartender in there or something like that. It's going to work really well, but you don't have to 3D model to do all this. So we already have a cantina on Manon, but I thought it'd be funny because we have Ivesh, who's like a very obvious drug dealer, in his little crack den. And I thought it would be cool to put like a, not a cantina, but some kind of like club on Manon and call it Ivesh's, or the Ivesh Club, something along that lines. I'm not entirely sure where to put this. I think that it would be useful to put it inside of the docking bay, because then the players don't have to have gained access to Manon to be able to actually do this. So it would be neat, because I believe there is an entire area over here, this area, that we're not really using. right in the game in vanilla. This area inside the docking bay. So we can actually take this and just reuse it for like a little club inside of their port, which is probably what we'll do. But we can also look at, the if we wanted to extend Manon, if we look at, and this is the same way with Nar Shaddaa, with some of Nar Shaddaa, it's the same way with most of Terrace, most of Manon. Um, we can go into like one of the embassies, for example, and these are all tile sets. I mean, if we select all these, you can see all the different boxes here that make up um, this cell. These are all completely separate little. See how tiny that is? This little square. Um, this is one mesh. This is another mesh, and if you just use the little grid here, it will snap it to grid, and they just snap together. I mean, you can't fuck it up. They just snap together. So you can sit here and you can create as large of an area as you would like to. Um, and all you would need to do really is uh, add a door somewhere and then bring it into your interior. Or you could even reuse like the bazaar. A lot of the bazaar here is a single mesh, but not all of it. But you could reuse the bazaar and create like another entire area. Literally just door that would lead to that location, and then you would be able to place a bunch of more doors. You could even take, for example, this and then use other meshes like we did on Nar Shaddaa and block off this middle entrance here, and then just have this smaller area. So you have like this entrance where you come into your new area, and then this is all you have, or vice versa, block this entrance off and just have this little plaza right here. Um, Very easy to do that. I mean, if you really wanted to, you could figure it out and you could block it off this way. So you just had this little corner in the entrance, or block off this part. I mean, you have these buildings for this planet that match, and you can resize them, rotate them however you need to, and literally block it off. And we could try to make it even more seamless, and we could maybe make them a little bit bigger. And then if you wanted to block this area off, you could. Something like that. Then you have this new area, or you have this new area. Take that out, and then you have your walkway, and you have this area, and then you would just take your meshes just like they're used here on Manon, and decorate the skybox like you would on the other planets. Um, oh, and look, huh? The the something express ship. I mean, it really is that easy to extend these planets. I think I am going to use that instead of extending the planet. I think I'm going to repurpose that spot in the docking bay since it has absolutely no use whatsoever. Um, but we could do that if we wanted to, and I hope that this information is useful to someone, especially I, with extending Nar Shaddaa. And you don't have, like, it would be much easier normally because you're not using that Makachisa market mesh that's this huge. mesh that you have to cover up, right? Um, and try to repurpose. But all the other all the other 3D models that make up those exteriors are made to be tile sets that you can use however you please. So, yeah, much easier than what we did before, where we made Tython, which that's awesome, right? It's a whole new planet the player can explore. But if you don't have that ability, or you don't feel like you have the time to mess with that, and you want to make a new area where you can create this quest that you want to make, then this is really all you have to do. Um, with Starwind Enhanced, there's even on Tatooine, it adds an entire new town out there in the desert with the new cell. I think it even has some new 3D models for that town, new walls and some new buildings, a whole new desert even um, that's basically untouched. So I don't think there's any content there. I don't think there's any published content by any modders either. So there's even areas in the game like this one we're looking at right here in the docking bay that have no purpose. They're just there and you can explore them and you can fill them with content very easy. And that's what we're gonna do in this one. Um, but you don't need to sit here and watch me make quests. I hope again this was useful to someone when I get around to actually making the faction um, and you know implementing a bunch of the quest lines for the faction. Then I'll make another video on that. So if folks want to learn how to create factions, then there will be an entire video just for that. But thank you.